Hello and welcome to yet another Hello America's What's Cooking live chat here on LinkedIn Live, where you can find us every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm delighted to be hosting those short and engaging chats. Hopefully, our audience, which has been with us across all of those weeks and months, already knows. Give us a shout out in there. In the message box on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions for our guests today, please feel free to ask them, and we will try and make time for you to get your answer as well. Without further ado, I would like to introduce my guest today, Marco Gilberti. Hello, Marco. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And before we get started, could you just very quickly introduce yourself and your organization so everybody knows who you are?
Yeah, I'm founder and CEO of Vesuvio Ventures, and we basically do investments and advisory on technology companies across event technology, marketing technology, and media technology. And I also have a previous life as an event organizer and an entrepreneur. I spent almost 3 decades across the media and events industry as well.
So, talking about your start of your career, when we were chatting, you mentioned also it's not only events, but it's also tech.
Yes.
How do you see the role of tech in events evolving?
Look, I started my career with tech. My first job was with Apple computers when I was super young. And since those days, I'm a frustrated geek. I love technology. And as an event organizer, I was always frustrated with technology. And I was always thinking, wow, we should be fixing this problem or that one through technology, and there are not enough solutions. When I sold my company to Real Exhibitions after a long partnership with them, I started Vesuvio, and I immediately started to participate on event technology startups. Now, I'm talking about 12 years ago, way before event technology was cool, way before COVID days. And honestly, I think that event technology was growing slowly for many years, but it was marginal. And after that, COVID happened, and we all know what happened. And every single face-to-face event moved into some sort of digital engagement, virtual events, and the rest is history. And it was a crazy couple of years with crazy amount of money going into event technology investments and valuations and a lot of crazy things. But now we're starting to see a post-COVID world where face-to-face is coming back. And some organizers are thinking, okay, I can go back to my comfort zone and forget about technology. And some organizers are thinking, I learned a lot during the last couple of years about virtual and hybrid and different sort of digital revenue opportunities. I'm going to keep doing that, and I'm going to come back with my events in a way that those events are going to service my customers on a significantly more efficient way. I think that the second type of organizers will do well. I think that the first type of organizers will probably do okay, but I think that the world will look at events from a different perspective in the future. And I keep using a similar example that I guess that is probably interesting for your audience if they are related to the events world. When you think about work before COVID, it was the classic office example, and you go to an office, you interact with people, you go back home. And now, as you know, work and remote work and the hybrid work component is very important for companies who are looking to retain talent. And I heard a great presentation from Mark Benioff, which is the Salesforce CEO, at one of his events, and he was saying that now Salesforce is thinking on physical offices and virtual offices. And as a classic event guy, I was thinking, wow, event organizers, we should do the same. We should think about our physical events where people meet face to face, but also our virtual events where people could engage from a different way. I think that there is a new generation of event planners, of event organizers, agencies, venues, and vendors who are thinking, we're not coming back to the previous model. We need to engage with technology from a different angle.
And you already touched a little bit on that, and it's totally in line with last week's chat with Dalia, who has been trying to get people to recognize the importance of using technology for the benefit and of making better in-person events, but also for connecting in a hybrid way. And we've seen with event tech the evolution, but then with the pandemic there have been so many disasters, and when we chatted, we just had the hurricane in Florida. So our industry is so volatile and vulnerable, but it's not all gloom and doom. What are some of the positive messages you would like to share with the audience today?
I don't think that technology is the events industry enemy, just the opposite. I think that technology is probably our best friend, and technology should help us to improve efficiencies and enlarge our industry. I think that events as an industry was a multi-trillion-dollar industry before COVID, and now it's going to be even bigger because it's coming back very fast and strong and healthy with the classic face-to-face model. And this could be trade shows, conferences, corporate events, festivals, sports, music, you name it. Every single event is coming back strong and healthy. But on top of that, the digital business is better and bigger than ever, which means if you look at our industry from a holistic perspective, now you're going to see a multi-trillion face-to-face opportunity, but also a very, very important digital opportunity. And I think that that is a fantastic opportunity for everyone in our industry who wants to be around for the next 10 or 20 years. Our industry is not going away. Our industry is going to be bigger than ever, but we need to speak a new language that is technology friendly.
Absolutely, and I think we could talk about the importance of digitalization and learning from some of the already existing good examples about the digital world. Talking about the gaming world, the metaverse, that is a whole different story. But let's get back to the live events, which are coming back strong. You have written a book, which is very current because that was published during the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken, which
Yes.
talks about reinventing live events. And you're providing some really great insights of the changing of the customer needs. Would you be able to share a little bit more on that?
Yes, the whole idea on that book was in the early days of COVID, we had a realization with my co-author, Denzil Rankin, who is the head of AMR, a very well-known consulting firm in the events industry, that this industry will be finally changing for good or for bad. We have basically no choice. And we said, what if we write a book about some ideas about how we could reinvent our business looking into the next 10 or 20 years. And we were uh, pretty brave on some projections, and time will tell if we were right or wrong. Honestly, it's still early to know. But the whole message is we have to unlearn and learn again as an industry. We have to be humble and rethink the way that we connect buyers and sellers, if it's B2B, or uh, content and fans, if it's B2C. And we have to rethink the way that we discuss our value proposition as a business. And digital is going to be an important part of that. The way that we share content and create content, the way that we educate people in our events, professionals or delegates in general, the way that we treat critical topics like sustainability as an industry, the way that we can expand our business to larger audiences through conversations like this, that is 100% digital, but could be combined with a face-to-face activation, and many topics pretty centric about innovation and technology. And that was also the trigger for the on-demand program that I just did about the Business of Events Masterclass, the whole idea, and I'm happy to talk about that a little bit more, is we believe that this is a perfect opportunity for our industry to unlearn things that were useful in the past, but probably no longer useful in the future, and learn new business opportunities in order to provide value to our customers and communities.
And let me immediately jump on that, talking about learning and education. We both agree education is critical for us all, for our industry. Associations are the biggest source of adult learning through their meetings, so we have to capitalize on that. ICA has also just launched their ICA Skills certification program, providing that education, which is so desperately needed. Because if you survey any of our Event Pro colleagues, none of them, or a very few of them, have actually gone to university to be working in the event space. So all those certification programs which are already existing and coming up are super important. And you have mentioned one which you've just launched is the Business Masterclass. How is that different from anything else we are in the market? And I chatted with you about the ICA skills part.
Yes, there are many great sources of tactical content for the events industry on specific topics like marketing or venues or you name it. And associations like yours and others are doing a fantastic job creating those certification programs, very granular, very specific, tactical for those professionals who needs to, update their education skills. There is very few or none information about the business topic. And if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a corporate executive who runs P&L and needs to improve your profitability or growth, if you're an association who survives based on the business of events, there is very few content sources for analyzing ways to improve the business results. And when the LeaderPass, it's an executive education platform here in US, team reached out and said, look, we saw your books, we saw your content. Would you be open to create an on-demand video program for the business of events? I immediately said yes, because I remember when I started in this industry, I would love to have content and talk with people who are doing business in this industry for decades. And I was very lucky and grateful and honored on the speakers that joined the program. If you see the Business of Events Masterclass program, you will see top CEOs from across the industry, investors, entrepreneurs, leaders across the industry who provided their time, advice, and wisdom. And I think there is more than 10 hours of content that we created, and it's everything about the business, and it's everything about how could we help these associations to do more profitable events opportunities, education opportunities, or venues, or of course for-profit event organizers. And it was just announced it's going to be at least one more year of content development. I'm going to go deep into some areas of the business that I'm passionate, like venues, for example. I think that smart venues will be critical in the future, or sports events or festivals. And it's amazing to see how generous are the industry leaders sharing their time and knowledge in order to educate the next generation of leaders for our industry.
And you could not have hit the nail on the head better. I was just commenting on that at one of the sessions I was at before we joined this call, where one thing always strikes me when we talk about associations, they always are having the notion and preconception we are nonprofit. That's okay. That's our tax status. But this does not mean that association do not have to operate in a profitable way. So I think this is so crucial to understand that business models, even if you're a nonprofit association, have to change to be relevant for your members, for your constituents in the future, and that you can and should learn from corporations, from startups. We can learn a lot from people like that. So thank you for your book. Thank you for putting together that masterclass. I think it is going to be of great value to our industry.
Thank
And
you.
before I let you go, we are on Hello America's What's Cooking. Anything you want to share with us today? Any of your favorite foods, recipes, restaurants? You told me you are originally from Argentina. Did you find an Argentinian restaurant in Florida?
Of course, I'm Italian Argentinian. As you can imagine, food is an important part of my life, which means allow me to choose two dishes: one Italian and one Argentinian. Italy, of course, my family is from the south of Italy. It will be a great Napolitan pizza, and that's my favorite dish when I go over there. And Argentina, of course, it's going to be meat. It's going to be a bife de chorizo, as we say in Argentina. And I live in Miami, and there are great Argentinian restaurants here, as you can imagine, which means I don't want to name anyone in particular because there are so many great options here.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I'm getting totally hungry and could do with either. For all of our audience, if you do want to get in touch with Marco or find out more about Vesuvio Ventures, please go on their website, marcogilberti.com/Vesuvio Ventures. And I'm assuming that anybody who wants to connect with you on LinkedIn, you will be happy to connect and answer any more questions.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, thank you so much, Marco, for joining us today. And anybody who wants to be on our live chat as guest in future, please feel free to drop me a note at xenia.p@ecoworld.org. The next 2 weeks, we are taking a short break because I will already on Thursday um, fly to the ECA Congress, which will take place in Krakow, Poland. So super excited, and flying back the week thereafter. But then we are back in November strong with our Hello Americas. And Marco, before we go, I just saw Morgan is saying that he really enjoyed you connecting your past in event management to technical advancement for our industry leaders. So thank you so much, Morgan, for this comment. I'm sure Marco appreciates that as well.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day.